नशलाकयाः चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजाः पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। उल्लङ्घ्य सिन्धो सलिलं सलीलं यशोकवह्निं जनकात्मजायाः आदाय तेनेव ददाह लङ्कां नमामि प्राञ्जलिराञ्जनेयम्। Hanumanji, our hero, after accomplishing a task that has never been known in the history of the universe, that somebody had dared to challenge Ravana, and not from afar, but right standing in front of Ravana. And by the very act done by Ravana, showed how it can cause a complete destruction of Lanka. Lanka was burning. It had turned from golden color to bright orange in flames and slowly turning to gray in ash. Everything had burnt down. And while he was lighting fire from one house to one another, one palace to another, one mansion to another, it was great exhilaration. And it was happening too fast as he, being a Vanara, was jumping from one terrace to another garden to someone else's balcony and back to another's backyard terrace again and just burning everything. After he put his tail in the ocean, he realized, wait a minute, I have accomplished something, but I think I have done a huge damage. And the huge damage is what happened to Sita Devi. Did I unknowingly, unwittingly also burn, because the entire Lanka is in fire, did I burn uh, her also? And this made him very morose. And as we heard last week, he went into all the consequences that can come out of such an thoughtless act, thoughtless as he was considering it. On the one hand, all the residents of the celestial realms are there congratulating him, singing his praises. And it happens in life. We may have done some service, others may be praising it, but internally we may know that perhaps it was not done in the best of the spirits, or there were some mistakes that may not be visible, or although you accomplished something, some people have been left hurt, and the glorification, the congratulations, the celebration has a little slice of or a flavor of some disappointment. So Hanumanji is also in that condition, thinking that what will I tell the Vanaras? What will I tell Sri Ramachandra? And what will happen to both of them? What will happen to Sugriva? What will happen to Bharata, Shatrughna, the entire Ayodhya Vasis? And so Hanuman इति चिन्तयास्तस्य निमित्तान्य उपपेदिरे पूर्वम् अपि उपलब्धानि साक्षात् पुनर अचिन्तयत्. While Hanuman is thinking this way, this is verse 21 of chapter 55. While he was considering this way, previous indicators, nimittani, omens or signs that had brought him optimism came back in his body, such as the twitching of the right eye, the right shoulder, or the right thigh for him, the pleasant breezes, and other indicators by which he knew that maybe there is another way to look at this. Now, before I read through, it's important for us to consider as we go through life, when there are moments of challenge or despondency, a sense of defeatedness or pessimism, it's important for uh, especially practicing spiritualists to be able to recognize certain indicators. Now, I'm not asking us to only rely on those indicators, but there are ways and means, that this is the point. There are ways and means by which the Paramatma sitting in the heart communicates with people, especially those who are dedicating their life to building that relationship. There are what we call prompts, and these prompts come in different ways. There may be a voice inside. There may be a devotee or someone who walks in and speaks a certain verse or point, or about a certain Vaishnava from the scriptures, or some random stranger may say something. Whatever ways it's possible. We may hear a song, that song may tell us something that triggers a whole thought process. So these are different ways in which a spiritually sees the participation of the Lord to help the person to come out of their Vishada. Now the word Arjuna, Vishada Yoga, the phrase is where Arjuna has become completely confused and only is seeing a very pessimistic picture of the world, his world and the world in general. And that pessimism has made him just give up and sit down. So we know the name of what the word Nishada means. Nishada means sitting very close to, or the word Upanishad means where one is sitting very close to one's guru, right at a lower position, and hearing from the guru. So it's called Upanishad. So Shada is to sit. Now Vishada or Vishada means the despondency of being caught in a dilemma where there is absolutely no clue of how to act. So it's called Vishada, just completely giving up and sitting down. The sitting down is not sitting down relaxedly, the sitting down meaning out of inaction. So it's important to sometimes take an action. I was just speaking with someone yesterday that I was taught by one of our mentors that it is sometimes better to make a wrong decision than to sit and not make any decision. So indecision is more sufferable than making even a wrong decision, because in making a decision there is movement. Because once you make a decision, you end up that it's a wrong decision, you can move along and find other means, but indecision is very painful. And many persons get stuck in indecision. Oh, I don't know what to do. Just do something. See what is the easiest thing one can do, and that indicates movement. So Hanuman here, he says, Purvam api upalabdhani. Those same indicators that he had got previously when he was searching for Sita Devi came back in his body. This is Ramachandra's prompt to rethink and see the whole thing differently. So Hanumanji said, Athava, Athava means or, Charu sarvangi rakshita svena tejasa na nashishyati kalyani na agnir agnav pravartate. Now, I had requested you to respond or express on our WhatsApp group what are your considerations of why Sita Devi possibly did not get burnt. I got a few people to respond. I'm surprised that others did not. And I thought possibly the psychology must be, oh, two or three people have written down all the points, so there's nothing new for me to add, and maybe that's why. But the exercise was not, please find new points. The exercise was, please express. So even if it's the same points, I bet you the language would be different, the expression would be different, the phrases could be different. And in those phrases is the beauty of our own realization. If we never express it, it never enters the heart. It sits at the periphery, waiting for a visa. It's like application of a green card where 141 is done, but 485 has been applied. It is not fully there. So please make it a habit to express it, even if it's in few words, but express it. And it's not about how new, how different, or how fascinating it should be. It can be the same point. For example, if someone said Sita Devi cannot be burnt because she is Ramachandra's consort, say the same thing, but learn to express it. It's very important. So Hanumanji says, well, Charu Sarvangi, one who his limbs are very beautiful, such personality, Rakshita Svena Tejasa, her own Tejas. In English, sometimes they translate as splendor, her own power. How is that that her own power protects her from burning? Na nashyati kalyani. And so, if she is such an auspicious personality that her entire body is full of auspicious qualities, na agnihi agno pravartate. How can fire burn fire? Fire is a symbol of purity. So how can fire burn fire? Because her quality is such, her character is such that it is like fire. So na agnir agno pravartate. This is a hint of what might be coming in the future, because Sita Devi is going to go through Agni Pariksha. Hanumanji will be standing right there observing that event along with all the Vanaras, Vibhishana, Lakshmana, Sri Ramachandra, and nothing happens to her in fire. And the reason is, sometimes people may ask, oh, how come Sita Devi walked through fire and nothing happened? The explanation is here. Na agnir agnau pravartate. Because Kalyani, she herself is an embodiment of auspiciousness. Anybody who calls out Sita Devi's name immediately comes in touch with all auspiciousness. Then he says, next point, nahi dharmatma धर्मात्मनस्तस्या भार्याम् अमित तेजसः स्वचारित्र अभिगुप्तां तां स्पर्ष्टुम अर्हति पावकः. Spashtum arhati pavaka. Fire is not qualified to touch her because the verse begins with na. Na sparshtum arhati. Fire cannot touch her, cannot do anything to her because she has these qualities. First of all, she is protected by her own chastity. Swacharitra abhiguptam. Abhiguptam, Gupta means secret or hidden, but Charitra, her character, the character that she is very, very chaste to Sri Ramachandra. That by itself. And Ramachandra is Dharmatmana. Dharmatmanasya tasya bharya amita tejasa. And Ramachandra is a personality with unlimited glory. Amita Tejasaha, or unlimited power. And because she chased to Ramachandra, what can fire do to her? These are lessons for us that fire represents tapa. In this case, it is literally fire. In our cases, it means some burning sensation, either some difficulty through one's own body or mind, difficulty through someone else's behaviors or speech. It's called adibhaudika, or behavior through worldly orders, excessive heat, excessive cold, drought, famine, earthquake, whatever things happen. A person who is chaste to the Supreme Personality, who himself is Amita Tejasaha, for such a person, na spashtum arhati, that burning sensation doesn't happen. They sort of easily tide or ride that difficulty. Swacharitra abhiguptam tam. So first is her chastity, her own personality and her chastity. Then he says, Nunam, for sure, Rama Prabhavena, Vaidehya Sukrutena cha, Yanman Dahanam Karmyam, Dahanam Karmayam, Na Dahad Havyavahana. Nunam, certainly, Rama Prabhavena, the influence of Sri Ramachandra is very, very strong, meaning his love for Sita Devi. And because he has love for Sita Devi, that love protects her completely. And Vaidehya Sukrutena cha. Vaidehi also has Sukruti. Now, this Sukruti is not Punya. The what we Rupa Goswami gives us, that Sukruti arises from three sources. Bhog Unmukhi Sukruti. Unmukhi means arising from. Uh, this is not coming from previous pious activities. Next is Mukti Unmukhi, that one dedicates one's life to becoming detached from this world. And for that, it takes a lot of determination. And there's Sukruti from it. You see, great tapasvis, they are generally not touched by difficulties. What we are interested is in Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti, the Sukriti that comes from the acts of devotion, devotional service, as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So the exercise was about Kirtanam and Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Any of these activities, one or more of these activities, create a certain auspiciousness and sukriti. Sukriti is good deeds or well done activities. And these cause us to be protected or insulated from the punches of the world. So therefore he says, Dahana karmayam na dahad havyavahana. Remember, the name of Agni is Havyavahana, the carrier of offerings. He cannot burn her for these two reasons. One, her Sukriti is there, and Ramachandra's Prabhava, his affection is there, his influence is there. These are all heart strengthening verses for us, that we are also the living beings who are being favored by the Supreme Lord. And that's the confidence that one develops, that Utsahan, that is the Sukriti, Nishchayat and Dhairyat. Nishchayat is Rama Prabhava. Sri Ramachandra will take care of me. Why my worry will not solve my problem? Ramachandra is taking care of me. Sita Ramachandra and their associates are taking care of me. And then he says that for Bharata, Shatrughna, and Lakshmana, for those three, she is Devata. She is the goddess. And she is very, very dear to Sri Ramachandra. Ramasya cha manaha kanta. Manaha kanta is a sweet meaning. Kanta means consort. And so Kanta is the male consort. Kanta is the female consort. So Manaha Kanta is she's the darling of Ramachandra's heart. Another is she is the one who lights up Ramachandra's heart. Sa katham vinashishyati. Vinashishyati. How can she be destroyed when not only Sri Ramachandra, but Ramachandra's associates also send, they worship her, or she's very dear to them, Devatacha. So all these powerful people, for us, the entire Sampradaya, their blessings are upon us. So one shouldn't feel that one is helpless in any situation. Then Hanuman considers, okay, I'm thinking Sita Devi might have been burnt, but Dahana karmayam sarvatra prabhur avyayah. The best among, the one who never fails to burn any fuel that is fed to him, such Agni, name dahati langulam. How is it possible that my tail is not burnt? Only the tip has been burning, but the rest of my body hasn't burned. Katham aryam pradhakshati. So if me, who's an ordinary Vanara, I have no greatness about me, I'm just a Vanara. If I have not been burnt because of Ramachandra's mercy, then Sita Devi, look at her. Look at the quality she has. Look at the character she has. Look at how wonderful these associates of Ramachandra and are always glorifying her. She has their well-wishing Ramachandra's profile. How can she get burnt? It's not possible. And that wonder, he says, for Ramachandra, anything is possible. Have I ever seen that in the middle of the ocean, this big mountain called Hiranyanabha showed up? So another name for Mainaka is Hiranyanabha. He just in the middle of the ocean. Have you ever seen a mountain rise out of an ocean? I've seen, because I've seen such wonderful phenomena, this is not surprising at all that Sita Devi would not be burnt. Okay, other qualities. Tapasa, by her tapasya, that I am only Sri Ramachandra's. I am not, I don't belong to anyone else. Ravana can throw any enticement towards me. I don't care. I don't care for Ravana. I don't care for Lanka. I don't care for the gold. I don't care for the gardens, the flowers, the birds. All the joyful things are nothing but poison for me in the absence of Ramachandra. All the poisonous, dangerous, horrible predators, Rakshasas, difficulties, the bare floor, cold, sleeping just exposed to the elements is more than heaven because Ramachandra was with me. That is her tapasya. Satyavakyena, her speech is very, very truthful. So her truthfulness and ananyatva, her single pointed devotion to Sri Ramachandra. Here he says Bhartari, towards her husband. So this is dharmic meaning that as a wife, she has this chastity to her husband, and philosophically, Ramachandra is the Bharta, the husband for all living beings. So these three things, tapasa, satyavakya, and ananyatva. If these three things are there, api sa nirdahed agnim na tamagni pradhakshati. Fire will not burn her. However powerful that fire is, tam agnihi na pradakshi. Her or she will not be burnt by fire. These are all lovely lessons for us. If you're feeling burning sensation in some life situation, health, relationships, financial, work related, something. I mean, there's a whole plethora of difficulties. Hanuman is, because he is the guru, Valmiki is teaching us that these areas are areas of focus. The tapasya, satyavakyena, ananyatva. That is Sri Ramachandra, my only shelter. Sa tatha chintayastatra devya dharma parigraham shushrava hanuman vakyam charananam mahatmanam. All the charanas, and because they are the singers, they said, "Oh, Hanuman." Uh, the Charana started to speak because they saw Hanuman, and they were praising the greatness of Sita Devi. And when Hanuman heard that, he became delighted. The Charana said, "Oh, Hanumanji, aho, khalu kritam karma dushkaram hi Hanumata. You have performed an act that is unparalleled. Dushkaran is very, very difficult to do. You have finished off the Rakshasas, their homes, their buildings, everything you have burnt down. The city is completely filled with the crackling noise of massive fires. Women, children, older demons running helter-skelter because they don't know what to do. They're just struggling to somehow save themselves. And Lanka is filled with the loud wails of women crying that is being resounded and echoed through the caves of the mountain. It is as if the entire Lanka city is crying loudly and piteously. Wherever you see, that aspect of Lanka is burning. Nagari, Sarva, Sa, Atta, Prakara, Torana. These cities, the smaller hamlets, the villages, the ramparts, meaning the surrounding areas. Prakara, the gardens and terraces. Torana, the doorways, arches, gates, everything has been burnt down. Janaki nacha dagdeti, but Janaki has not been burnt. Vismayo adbhuta eva hina. So for us, it is very, very wondrous how Sita Devi has not been burnt. It is very, very strange. So when the indicators of the within his body, they're called nimittas, his own contemplation about the greatness of Sita Devi and the greatness of Ramachandra's protection upon her, and the words of the Charanas that she has not been burnt, Hanuman felt very happy. Hanuman abhavat Prita Manasaha. His mind became happy. Now, Hanuman has accomplished all his activities. Time is arriving to go back to Sri Ramachandra. So Valmiki says, Tataha Kapihi Prapta Manorathartha. So having fulfilled all of his purposes, Raja Sutan Viditva. So now he also got to meet Raja Sutan, the princess Sita Devi. Pratyakshatastan punareva drashtva. So he said, one time before I go back to where Sri Ramachandra is and all the Vanaras are waiting, I want to see Sita Devi one more time. Prati pranaya matim chakara. Prati pranaya, before departing, he had this thought that he wants to see Sita Devi one more time. That will be next week. What happens? So Hanumanji, when he left Lanka, was a very chaste, loyal messenger of Sri Ramachandra. But when he met Sita Devi, he became her devotee. So even going back, he wants to see her one more time, assure her, take her darshan and blessings, and then go back. So that's how the chapter ends. Now, since I gave all of us homework, I also did my homework. I wrote some points as to why Sita Devi couldn't be burnt. And I put it into the different levels of teachings within the Ramayana. We always know that the Ramayana is operating at the dharmic level, at the tattva level, and finally at what we say a rasa or leela level. Sometimes we distinguish rasa and leela, but otherwise rasa and leela. So these three levels. So from the dharmic level, or at the dharmic level, the first is the chastity of Sita Devi towards Ramachandra. And this chastity was indicated way back by Janaka Maharaja. During their wedding, Janaka said to Sri Ramachandra, Iyam Sita Mama Suta Saha Dharmachari Tava. Just as you are the symbol or emblem of Dharma, she will also be a symbol of Dharma along with you. Saha Dharmachari. Whatever step of Dharma you take, she will follow that step exactly with you. And then he said, Pativrata Mahabhaga. Pativrata. Now, Acharya, we don't have time for these verses because we spoke about them previously, but the Acharyas express how can Janaka say she's Pativrata when she's never been married? A woman is called Pativrata only after she is married and she exhibits that she is chaste. But Janaka Maharaj already assures Pativrata, Mahabhaga. She is greatly fortunate and she brings great fortune for you, Sri Ramachandra. Up until this time, nobody knows Sri Ramachandra. Only after marrying Sita Devi, the whole world comes to know how great Sri Ramachandra is. So without Sita Devi, the glory is, we say, limited. Although he's unlimited by nature, it's a glorification of them together. That she brings unlimited glory to Sri Ramachandra. Pativrata Mahabhaga Chayeva Anugata Sada. She will be with you like a shadow is always with an object. They're inseparable. Ityuktva Parakshipad Raja Mantra Putam Jalam Tada. He sprinkled sacred waters on the bond of their hands by reciting this verse. Ramayana also gives us examples of chastity, both positive and not so positive. So, not so positive is where Kaikeyi, her chastity or the lack of it is demonstrated by her insisting on the boons to be fulfilled right now. But let's look at positive examples just for the sake of time. Anusuya Devi is spoken about when Sita Rama Lakshmana enter the hermitage of Atri Rishi and Anasuya Devi. There, Atri introduces Anasuya Devi as that chaste lady by whom, just by her desire, she brought rain to a famine struck a region. She ordered that the rains fall, and the rains had to fall. There's also another story. Once a woman who met Anasuya Devi came to her because this woman was under severe distress. The distress was she was told that Yamaraj will come, or the Yamaraj's associates will come and take her husband away the next morning at sunrise. So she begged Anasuya Devi, please do something. I'm abridging the story. When we had spoken previously in that section of Aranyakanda, we went through the details. Anasuya Devi said, my chastity to my husband, I will gift to you. And the way I'll gift to you is, they said that your husband will die when the sun rises. Okay, what if the sun never rises at all? So she ordered, let the sun not rise. For 9 days, there was no sunrise. All the demigods, Lord Brahma, everyone came to her and said, please don't alter the course of nature so dramatically. We promise you that her husband will not die. Let the sun please go around its course as nature should do. That's her power. And there are other stories of Satyakam, not Satyakam. I forget the lady. She could read his mind. So that's another. Then Sita Devi, the fact that her chastity was such that she invoked Agni Dev when Hanumanji, she came to know that Hanumanji's tail was on fire. And if you look at the phraseology, there are 4 verses. She says, Shito Bhava Hanumata. She's not requesting. It's almost like she's ordering Agni. Let Hanuman feel cool. Then in Sundara Kanda, previously, when Ravana had come, Sita Devi looks squarely at Ravana and she says, don't think that I cannot burn you. Just my glance can make you into a pile of ash. Because Ramachandra has not given me the permission, I'm letting you go today. That's the power of her. If she can incinerate Ravana, Agni cannot burn her. Now, from a Tattva perspective, this is what I was hoping you will say. In the Tattva, Sita Devi represents the living being, the Jiva or Atma. And Krishna tells Arjuna, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka, Na Chakledayanti Apaha, Na Shosheti Marutaha. The Atma cannot be cut by weapons, cannot be burnt by fire, cannot be moistened by water, and cannot be withered by the wind. So Sita Devi, who's Jivatma, cannot be burnt by fire because she is spiritual in nature. From a Leela perspective, Sita Devi is Sri Ramachandra's Swarupa Shakti, his internal potency that is made of Samvit, Sandhini, and Hladini, Satchit Ananda. And this potency, just like the Supreme Lord, is fully spiritual. In the Vishnu Purana, uh, is this explanation that, O Supreme Lord, you are the support of everything. And these three attributes, Samvit, Sandhini, and Hladini, they exist in you as one spiritual energy called Swarupa Shakti. But as far as the material modes are concerned, which cause happiness and distress and misery, they do not exist in you because there are no qualities. So she is the internal potency, Swarup, or we say Antaranga Shakti, and so she cannot be burnt by fire. In fact, she is the source of fire, which is the next reference from Sri Suktam. Dhanam Agnir, Dhanam Vayu, Dhanam Suryo, Dhanam Vasu, Dhanam Indro, Bruhaspatir, Varunam, Dhanam Astute, Dhanam Ashnute. So the word Dhanam refers to Lakshmi Devi and Dhanam Agni. She is Agni, or she is the source of Agni. Dhanam Vayu, Dhanam Surya, Dhanam Vasu. So it is the internal potency of the Lord that through which is manifest everything in this world. So how can the source be burnt by or harmed by the emanation? That's some consideration. Any questions, comments, please? Some thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for a very nice class. I was just appreciating Hanumanji, although his tail was burning and he was in that mood of burning everything. Takes a lot of. I mean, for me, I was thinking it's easy to get caught up in the moment, but he
Mm.
was thinking about
Mm.
Mother Sita. He was not so concerned about his own welfare, but he even wanted to go see her one last time. I would have thought like, oh, he would probably go quench his tail first and
He
then go
already has
see.
quenched his tail, though.
Oh, he already did. Okay.
This
But it,
this this whole thought last week when we were discussing it, the point was after he quenched his tail, extinguish the fire, then all these thoughts have come. Because the point is, when one is burning and that anger is there, one has no considerations. Only after one has cooled down that all these things come into his mind. At that time, previously, and that's his own chastisement. How inconsiderate that the power of fire is such that I just went on a rampage without thinking anything. So those are lessons of what anger can do.
thank you so much. Prabhuji. It was such a nice
You're
class. And I
welcome.
was appreciating the point that you mentioned, where you drew the analogy between Sita is protected by Lord Ramchandra and his associates,
Mm.
and not only her chastity and purity. And similarly, you said that we are all we have the blessings of our disciplic succession. We are not alone. That was very reassuring.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please
Hey,
accept my
Hare
obeisances.
Krishna. Nice to hear your
Yeah,
voice.
likewise. I was, I really appreciated how, it was the tattva, the dharmic, and then the rasa, categorization of how you explaining Sita was not burned. I did not, so the rasa side or the lila side, I understood that she she is who she is, and therefore she cannot burn. In fact, the very um, uh, the fire comes from her. That's her energy.
Mm.
So it still seemed like that's in the tattva category than in the rasa
Because
category.
she's
So maybe
the, the rasa or leela, that it is Lakshmi Devi who has appeared here. So how can she be burnt? The tattva
okay from
is
that standpoint.
the tattva distinction I made was that she represents the jiva, the soul, and the soul, Krishna says, cannot be burnt by fire.
That's good. This is on Monday. I'm supposed to be giving a talk for small kids in the camp in Gita Nagri,
Hmm.
small teenagers and stuff. So this is beautiful because I was supposed to be speaking on Jayatenam Niyateva Kadachin,
Oh,
and this whole story is perfect for kids. So thank you very much.
fantastic. Fantastic. I'll send you this document if you want. You can embellish it as you like.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Anyone else? Oh, someone wrote something in chat. As the whole Lanka is burnt out, is it rebuilt before the war? So there is uh, no mention of it because they don't have time to rebuild it. It's within a month, Sri Ramachandra is going to show up. And I don't know if there is a reference that Lanka was rebuilt. I mean, I'm sure there are, it's all in a broken condition, but I don't know. I have not heard, or there's no particular reference that way. Okay. Shoma Shekhar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you very much
Krishna.
for this wonderful exposition on the Ramayana. I had a very, very trivial question. Probably it's been asked several times. But when it comes to women in the Ramayana and in other um, Puranas, etc., the issue of chastity is always highlighted, but the same is not done with respect to men.
Oh, is there?
Although it seems to be an equal, I mean, it shows up prominently for women, but when it's discussed with men, probably it's not secondary, tertiary, or something like that. So I was just wondering why it's up there as a priority number one for women and maybe a lower priority for men. The reason why I asked this question is one, because there is this feminist critique of the Ramayana, and how do we answer such critiques? So that's my question, Prabhuji. Thank you.
How do we answer is a longer answer, but let's take the first part. Chastity or fidelity is not just exclusive to women. It is referred to in this way, but is also referred in it with a different word for men. The word is Shushushaya, Guru Shushushaya. For Ramachandra, uh, that phrase has been referred so many times that Ramachandra was Guru Shushushaya. He was very, very chaste to his guru, Vishwamitra. He was very chaste to Agastya Muni because he considered all of them as his gurus. So in this case, as a unit, uh, the functions are different, the activities are different, and in that, the husband is only possible for him to be the, I guess, the head of the household, if you will, when he has chastity to Guru and Hari. And the family, in this case, the wife, let's say, her is to be attached to him as an expression of her chastity to the Supreme Lord. But it never says that the Supreme Lord, for a wife, that She has no individual relationship with the Lord, but is expressed here as a unit. When you talk of as a unit, so there is as much, in fact, more onus on the man or the husband for his chastity. Otherwise, the entire family gets destroyed. The functions are different, services are different, uh, and so the words used are different, but I guess the message or intent is the same.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
You go back to Ramachandra's meeting with Vishwamitra, and you'll see. And in the very first section of Ayodhya Kanda, where the ministers, rishis, and the general public are talking about Ramachandra's quality, you will hear in different words how Ramachandra is Guru Shushrusha. Oh, there's wonderful verse also, a very famous one. Satyena Lokan Jayati. You heard that verse, Somashekar?
I don't immediately recall it, Prabhu.
Okay. Dasharatha is told, Satyena Lokan Jayati. Ramachandra conquers the world by his truthfulness. Dinan Danena Raghava. And those who are helpless, Dinan Danena. His charitable nature wins them over. Gurun Shushushaya. He wins over his gurus by his quality of humble chastity, but humble service. You can't offer humble service without chastity. And he wins over his enemies by archery.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right. Anyone
Prabhu,
else?
I would like to say one thing about this Lanka being rebuilt. I'm like forgetting the reference. Recently, 2-3 days back only, I read somewhere that Ravan was so powerful that he threatened Vishwakarma, and like overnight, Lanka was immediately rebuilt and repaired so that he is not embarrassed in front of his whole citizens that this Hanumanji did all this. But
Wow.
I can give you the reference right now. Yeah.
Please
But
find us. Find us the
I will
reference
try
and
if I am able to find it. Yeah, I will
put
try.
it on our WhatsApp group, please.
Yeah, if I am able to find it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That'll be very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, final comment, anybody? Yamuna Jivana Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have a question on anger and how, Hanuman, often Prabhupada quotes how Hanuman uses anger in a very positive way in Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
My question is, anger towards oneself for, lapses in consciousness or, just an inability to follow through on commitments, etc., which may lead to perhaps a a is a struggle, but it's also it may lead that anger may or self anger may also lead to further resolve for the future. Can that be considered wholesome anger?
Yes. It depends on the consequence of it. If it is a way to shirk the jvara or laziness or whatever indolence at that point, that it inspires movement and connection, then it is useful, helpful. Fire, in general, while it is very dangerous, it has great value when regulated in cooking, in purifying metals, in purifying thing in a furnace, heating. So it has great utility when regulated. It's when it's unregulated, then it has destructive consequences. So if one has that fire, then however, if it helps move forward, great. Because that fire has to be fueled by or directed by sattva guna. If it is fueled or guided, not fueled, but guided by tamoguna, then the fire just says, "Ah, what is the use of anything? Just forget about everything." And they end up destroying whatever they worked on even further. So it's directional as well.
Mm.
Now, the reference of Hanumanji's anger extolled as great service, anger used in service, is when we look at Hanumanji. Here, Hanuman is going through this introspection as a way of being a teacher. His introspection is our lessons about the ill effects of anger, uncontrolled, unregulated anger. Because he's a teacher. So his contemplations are lessons for us.
Yeah, that's clear, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanumanji ki jai. May that wonderful Hanuman, our teacher, our hero, our role model, teach us that as we go through life, the burning, the harshness, the scathing world, that life that we have to go through has challenges at every step. Padam padam yat vipadam na tesham, that there will not be those difficulties, because we are assured that the grace of Sri Ramachandra's associates, the grace and love of Sri Ramachandra himself, and our engaging in that relationship. Here Hanuman says, tapasa, by one's own tapasya, sukritena, by one's own activities of bhakti. These are all shields that protect us as we move through life, ultimately moving towards the wonderful Sita, Ramachandra, Lakshmana, Hanuman, Bharata, Shatrughna, and the entire retinue of their associates. So we can move confidently, we can move assuredly, and move safely. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Sarvam Shri Ramarpanam.